Okay, so here's the recap. Chippy and Rio got carjacked. There's some very controversial new members of the table, and Junior is still acting a donkey. So if you want to know what's next, stay tuned. Hey, hey, y'all. Welcome back to Lighten Up with Letitia. I'm Letitia, your host, and I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. So don't forget when you come in, go ahead and like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you're here for the family business, then you're in the right place because we're talking about season 5, episode 2, and we are recapping the season 5 of the family business to go along with those who are watching on BET the network every Tuesday at 10 p.m. And I'll be doing recaps. So let's dig right into episode 2, which is called Desperate Times, Desperate Measures. So we're starting off with Aunt Chippy and Uncle LC. They are in the bed. And you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you might feel a little friendly, a little frisky. So she leans over to talk sweetly in her husband's ear, but unfortunately, he says he's tired and he just wants a rain check. And she said, well, you said that yesterday. So apparently she's not getting an 11. It's becoming a pattern. Then we see Rio. Now it's nighttime, and Rio is lurking in his car in the dark, watching outside of LoJack's auto shop, right? And we see him put his hand into the glove compartment to get out his blicky. I'm thinking like, child, didn't your mama tell you to leave well enough alone? Well, anyway, meanwhile, on the inside, LoJack is finishing up his auto stuff, for the rest of the day, where he gets a telephone call from somebody who was asking for a nightcap. So he accepts the invitation and tells them to come on by. We see London getting ready to leave, right? So she's getting in the car to leave. Now, back outside, Rio is again, he's pulled out the blicky. He's getting ready to, I don't know what he thought he was about to do, but anyway, he gets a call from Paris, who is on the phone and apparently drunk out of her mind. So he says, well, listen, um, I'm gonna come and get you because you don't need to be driving. I'm gonna come and get you, but it'll be about an hour. I got something to do. So I guess his intention is to go in and handle LoJack until he sees his other sister, London, pulled up and smooching with LoJack. Child. So they getting ready to do the storyline where London and LoJack get together, which, by the way, I'm sorry, I cannot take it seriously to call some grown man, LoJack. Plus, when we were first introduced to him, London and Sasha were literally beating up the guys around him and him. She was punking him, and he's known as a snitch. So I don't really know how I feel about this budding friendship with them. I guess they could be cool, and maybe they just messing around. She just need a little something, something after she got divorced. I think it's weird, but moving on. So we're back at the mansion, and we see Mariah is watching her from the window, watches her mom's leave, and then all of a sudden she gathers her book bag, her birthday money, and then she leaves out. Next thing we see her turning off the lights in the home. All of the lights went out, right? And somehow she's able to leave the compound. Now, I just think I'm sitting here like, child, really? First of all, okay, maybe she does know how to get to the lights and all that sort of thing, whatever. But I'm thinking security, who needs to be fired? Because how is she able to not only get to the lights, but you didn't see anybody on camera either going to the lights, going away from the lights. Anyway, somehow that's how she was able to get out and run away. Now, the next day, Sonia is in the kitchen, kind of sulking, whatever, to which Aunt Nene comes to ask her what is going on. And she starts crying about how she tried to reach out to Junior. Remember when she went to go take him the gift? Yeah, reached out to him and he rejected her. Now, And Nene, I know she meant well and everything, but she was trying to console her, telling, well, he's hurting right now. And, you just have to give him a little time. And Sonya's like, listen, the one thing I don't have is time right now. And I don't know why he's mad at me. I didn't have anything to do with this. Why wouldn't they just tell him what the problem was? Why would they keep a secret this big away from him? And then he says, I mean, maybe they tried to tell him. But when Sonya asked her, just tell me what it is, she declines and says, no, I'm sorry, I can't tell you what went on. If you want to know the story, you're going to have to ask Chippy, LC, or Donna. Too bad, so sad. But meanwhile, Junior is also waking up to the ring of his phone where his mama is calling him to say, what is going on? I've been calling you for the last few hours because she's back from her trip. She had to take the red eye. Child, why was she out on her rendezvous date? Somebody flew her out, but then wanted her to pay for the dinner. She said, I will not. This is very Lisa Ray. She was like, no, 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 no. I don't do that. So she hopped a red eye and brought her behind back home, all while referencing, I should have just stayed with Detroit Red. They did look good together too, by the way. Her and Detroit Red used to kick it. So anyway, she said, listen, I was calling you to come pick me up, but I'm in an Uber limo now. And so I'm on my way home. So of course he has to then scatter, tell the girls who he's still there with, those girls spent the night, tell them they have to go because my mommy is on the way. Of course they started clowning him a little bit like, your mommy, I thought you lived alone. He said, no, I thought this was your house. He said, it is my house and I live with my mom. Child, moving on. Okay, so now we're back to Aunt Chippy and Aunt Nene, and they're in the kitchen, right? And Aunt Chippy begins to give her frustration about her not being able to get an 11. And this is where we see a quick glimpse of Lauren. Now, throughout this season, we're going to see glimpses of Lauren, but where we can see, and I'm thinking like, dang, we don't really get to see much about her. However, we will see much more about her in the spinoff that's coming as of January the 23rd, The Family Business New Orleans. So if you're interested in hearing about that, I will be doing recaps of that simultaneously with this one. So, and again, those are starting on the 23rd of January. Now, so then London comes home from her rendezvous with LoJack, and Chippy starts questioning her like a teenager. And it's like, she's like, Mom, I need this time away. Let me go get Mariah out of the bed. She's not going to sleep all day. So, Chippy was really just getting on London simply because she was frustrated with her own situation. But when London went to go look for Mariah, she ran back downstairs screaming that she was not their child. Mariah had pillows and everything in her bed. She was gone. I told you she took her book bag and her birthday money and she rolled out. So London gets a call. Now she's shaking and everything. She wasn't even going to pick up, but they were afraid maybe it might be, Mariah. So she picks up. Child, it is Raven. You know Raven. Raven is Harris's his older daughter. That's Raven is her mother. And so London's like, what are you doing calling me? What do you want? So Raven basically says, listen, Mariah was here earlier. I just wanted to check and make sure that she was home. She was upset and she was looking for Harris. Is she home? London's like, no, she's not home, and we need to find her. Whatever, get off my phone. Harris is your problem, child. So she hangs up on her and she runs back out to go and I guess to go get dressed so she could get out to start looking for Mariah. Then we see a woman walking up to this office building, and it's none other than Dr. Brandy Richardson. Remember her? Now, she was supposed to have gotten out of Dodge like a few seasons ago, but thank goodness that she didn't because she is the reason why they were able to save Uncle LC from Fresh Meadows. So anyway, she goes into this office for a Dr. Wilson because she was there for a job interview where she is met by Uncle LC. Now, initially, she is confused because she's like, I'm supposed to be meeting Dr. Wilson. Then all of a sudden, she's like, oh my gosh, are you going to unalive me? He's like, No, here, take a seat. I just wanted to, show my gratitude and let you know that I really appreciate everything that you did for me. Because if it wasn't for you, he might still be in, Fresh Meadows or gone. So he asked her, he said, why didn't you offer, I mean, or why didn't you take the $1 million that I offered you? And she said it really wasn't about the money. And she said, first of all, I didn't actually believe you. He said, yeah, I understand that. But after everything was all said and done, you still didn't take it. Vegas offered you the money, you didn't take it. She said, no, it really wasn't about the money. Really, when I went to Fresh Meadows, she just really wanted to help people. And then we find out that her mother suffered from and actually passed away from complications of mental health, and that is why she is so into the mental health sector. And so she said she really just wanted to help. Now, this is very different than the Brandy that we knew before, because, before she was getting it on with Orlando, and she was very bitter when he cut her off. So we've seen a change of heart in her, and she hasn't thought about Orlando, doesn't seem anyway. I hope this isn't some scheme for her to try to get closer to Orlando, but it doesn't seem like it is. So anyway, he basically said, well, good. I'm glad you wanted a fresh start. Hey, I'm here to give you a fresh start. He said, I gave the staff the week off, but basically this office is yours. Dr. Wilson retired. We retired him early, and you can have this office. So um, she was so, of course, very grateful for it or whatever. She says, if there's ever anything I can do for you, let me know. So he sits down and talks to her briefly about his ED issues, the dysfunctional issues going down there. And so, they were thinking, just doing some brainstorming, talking about that maybe the medication he was taking contributed to it, or even the shock therapy might have contributed to it. So she offered Viagra. He said, no, I've had too many pills as it is. And so she said, okay, well, maybe some herbs or whatever. So they decided on maybe some herbs. And but she asked, has he felt strange? He made a joke about, he said, other than, threatening to unalive one of my coworkers, he said, no, I've been fine. See, that's what I'm talking about. Because the way he acted in that table meeting, I was like, sir, you gave her that office. You needed to have penciled yourself in for the next 20 weeks, okay? And to sit on her couch because you need some therapy after going through all the things that you went through at the nut house. So, anyway, like I said, he agreed on the supplements and they move on. Then we see Nevada, who is driving on the highway. It's nighttime. He gets a call from Mariah. Child, she is in Bayshore, which I'm assuming is kind of far away from where they are. Got on the wrong train. Now she's at some seedy motel on the payphone, asking him, please come pick me up. So thank goodness. I was like, girl, stay on the phone, stay safe. But anyway, he finally he gets there, picks her up, and it's like, what's up? What's going on? She's like, are you mad at me? No, but we didn't know what's going on with you. She didn't even want to tell him at first. Now he had to go off like, wait a minute. Now I came all this far to come and get you, and you gonna treat me like this? How about I just call your mama? No, I'm good. That's good. So basically, what she said to him was, oh, I really feel like she felt like her mom did something to her dad. He had to reassure her that, girl, your mom would never do that. And that don't worry about it. Your dad will show up, sooner or later. But in the meantime, stop giving your mama trouble, stop getting into trouble, and just start acting right, okay? Communicate as opposed to running away. So then we go on to Brandon and Roman. Remember the two carjackers? Now they're best friends. So they're at Roman's home, I'm assuming, because Brandon was like, listen, I just came over here to dap you up and tell you bye because my mom doesn't want me hanging around you anymore. And so much so, she's sending me out of town. And so he's confused, Roman is confused, like, what's the big deal about these so-called Duncans? I don't know anything about them. I've been on the streets since 16 and I haven't heard of these Duncans. So when Brandon leaves, he goes to look them up. He said they just look like, car salesmen. They sell cars. That's the woman. She looks nice. I don't understand what's going on. In the meanwhile, his Aunt Coretta walks in and she informs him that his mom is resting right now, but that the doctors told her, so apparently his mom is in the hospital, And the doctors told her that the transplant or the surgery that she needs is going to cost a lot of money. He tries to reassure Aunt Coretta, listen, don't worry about the money. I'm going to take care of it. But she's like, boy, I do not want you out in these streets doing God knows what just to get some money. We will work this out. He said, don't worry about it. I promise everything's going to be fine. I'm going to take care of this. So he goes to leave, and she notices that he had been looking up the Duncans on the computer. She's like, oh my gosh. She looked like she went into a lightweight panic, like, of all people, of all days, why would he be looking them up? So we know that there's some story behind why they do not want him to know about the Duncans. But we don't know quite yet. Now, then we go to Orlando is coming off of a flight. Nevada is there to receive him, to pick him up from the airport. And he asks about little O, but he asks about little Vincent. To which Orlando is like, you know what? For the record, I hate that name. And rightfully so, because Ruby, in spite, in her spite for Orlando, she named that baby after his op. Just crazy. Anyway, so he had expected Vegas to come to pick him up, but Nevada said that he was busy. So he said, well, no problem. I'm back now. He can go on the vacation that y'all need to go on. He said, let's go, but I need to make a stop first. Nevada's like, well, everybody's so excited to see you. He really didn't feel like celebrating though. He said, no, I need to make a stop. And so Nevada jokingly says, oh, to the Hellfire Club. He said, no, actually, no, I'm looking for Junior. I'm going to Donna's house. So Nevada starts to laugh. Well, you might as well go to the Hellfire Club because Junior's an absolute regular there now. He went from a bronze to a platinum membership within 1 month. That's how much he's been there. So I was like, so you've been buying that much? Junior, Junior, Junior. Oh, so anyway, he said, well, listen, I can check the database to see if Junior is there now. And when we pan to Junior, that's exactly where he is, being fed strawberries by a girl, Gia, that's there. So Orlando rolls up on him, asks Gia to excuse them, and basically was like, man, what's up? You have not been returning my calls, my text messages. I know you upset with the family, but what you mad at me for? What you mad at us for? We didn't have nothing to do with this. We didn't have nothing to do with whatever mom, dad, and Donna had going on back in the day. And he said, I just want you to know we're family. We love you. We hurting too. And we want to go through this with you. To which, Junior stands up. He's like, you know what? You still disrespecting me. I didn't want to have this conversation. Yes, you may be my brother, but we're estranged. I'm like, oh, child. I mean, I think about it like, what would I have felt like if that was the case? Because he's like, oh, his whole life has been a lie. But I feel like, but your whole life has also been very good. And I don't know if it would have been as good as it had he been with Donna the entire time. But I digress. Back in at the mansion, Aunt Chippy and Nene are on the couch, and they're talking about the fact that basically she is like, I am really having a hard time with my husband. I want my husband. He's looking good nowadays, and we have a really good, intimate life, and I haven't gotten any since he's been back from Fresh Meadows. So they get to talking about ED and the blue pill, and child, she already tried tried to put the blue pill in his food, and nothing has worked so far. So, but then we go to Uncle LC, he's in the car, right? But he's looking at these supplements. He's like, it's so funny. He said triple ginseng root. It was just funny. But then he gets a call from KD, who says that Jonah wants to meet him at the ranch tonight at 9 p.m. and to bring that $5 million with him. To which LC agrees, and he drives off. Now, Roman, remember, he left his Aunt Coretta to go take care of some business. So where that business is at this club. He goes to the VIP section to knock on the door of this new character we have named Darnell. So later on, we will find that Darnell is actually connected to, he's actually from the Black Hamptons. He is Cornelius's cousin, so he deals with Bobby the Beast Boyd over at the Black Hamptons. So anyway, Roman approaches him basically to say, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to put me on." I guess Darnell is a plug. He's like, "Listen, I'm gonna need you to put me on. I need to get some money for to help out my mom, and I know that you got it, so I'm down with whatever I need to do." So he tried to warn him, said, "Listen, the kind of work we're talking about is not some fluff stuff, it's some real down in the dirt, might get you unalive type stuff." But he agreed, said, "Listen, this is where you know he's desperate for this money." Even though Aunt Coretta just told him don't be out in the streets doing all this crazy mess. But y'all, he ain't about to listen because listen, he's thinking about taking care of his mama. So then we get down to the showdown, right? Uncle LC does meet up with this Jonah character, right? And he says to him, he said, "Yeah, I recognize you. You Catfish's boy." Now we will know who Catfish is later on. But Jonah said, "Yeah, I'm here." And you could tell that this conversation was about to go left because he had like trigger words where he was saying things like calling him uppity, calling Uncle LC uppity. You know, when somebody white calls somebody black uppity. So anyway, he's like, but Jonah was like, "Listen, let me bring it back to your remembrance. You're the one who broke the agreement with my dad and with the family. You know, this is all regarding Vegas." Now it's so crazy. They mentioned it last week, but we don't know what the agreement was. All we know is, I guess the agreement was for Vegas to stay in jail. Remember? So, but we don't know what the circumstances around that. Even when they got him out, all we got was that mystery box that Aunt Chippy gave to Harris in order to get the information in order to free Vegas. So, this is all to do with Vegas, right? So, Uncle LC throws him the money and he takes it and he says, "Yeah, you know, you ought to be grateful and everything." He said, "And I'll expect another million a month." What? Now Uncle LC is like, "No, sir, I just paid you the 5 million. I'm not paying you a million a month." So then Jonah commences child to start calling him a boy. Whew. And you know what Michael Evans says? Boy is a white racist word, right? It is. So anyway, why does he say, "Listen, okay, well, how much is your family worth it to you?" And so Uncle LC says, "About as much as your life is worth, about as much as your family's life is worth." So Uncle LC pulls out his piece of steel because he is not about to pay. He already paid you 5 million. He's not getting ready to pay another million a month. He is done with these people. So when he points, Jonah's like, "Well, you can't unalive us all." He said, "Well, I can damn sure try." Pow pow. Okay. Pow pow. Then next thing you know, Aunt Chippy calls. And now he is checking the man's to see if he's still alive. But he's talking to his wife, like, "Listen." She said, "Well, are you hungry? Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, everything's fine." He said, "I'm hungry, but not for no food. So this is what I want you to do. You better get ready for me because I'm on the way." And so he grabbed his bag of money and he said, "Listen, daddy's coming home." So that was the end of the episode. Again, this was episode 2 of The Family Business. It is heating up, but I am side eyeing Uncle LC. I told you when he acted up in that table meeting, child, I said, "Oh, something is wrong." He needed to have gone to therapy or had something he needed in order to undo what they did to him at Fresh Meadows. So anyway, if you followed along this far, thank you again for being here. I really wish you would. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you know every time I upload or I go live. And I'm really excited because I'm getting ready to introduce a new segment to my channel. It's going to be regarding hot topics, but it's also going to be about life lessons. So I hope you will join me there. And don't forget to check me out whenever else I'm on any other panels. But don't forget to tell me what your thoughts are about this particular episode. What do you think is going to happen with Junior next? What do you think Uncle LC is going to do next? And what we going to do about Mariah, y'all? Okay, so anyway, thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Holla.